How is everybody doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Okay. Well, welcome back to another day of the DMC1 80% tournament. My name is DECosmic, as per usual, and I am joined today by Demonic Robots.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
And you can follow Demonic at his Twitch at twitch.tv/DemonicRobots. What's your YouTube? Is your YouTube the same thing, man?
YouTube's not the same thing, but I'll link my Twitter, which has my YouTube on it. That's going to be twitter.com/demonicruns.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Turn my mic up? Are we saying my audio good now? Now that the music is gone, I'm a little bit low. Okay. Let me turn the gain up here. Turn me up. Low compared to Demonic. Okay, we're gonna turn me up then, like 10 decibels here. We good now? We good now?
It's always funny. You have to wait for Chad to catch up whenever you ask him a question. You're just kind of sitting there with anticipation,
yeah,
like
sitting on my hands, just like, oh, good stuff, you know. Awesome, awesome. All right, boy. Sounds alright now. Good, good. I can probably just tick Demonic down here a little bit. You just tick Demonic down here. We'll be good. Okay. Like Dora the Explorer. Okay, fair enough. Demonic is a guest commentator. He does not run this game, but he's done his homework, and he has some experience doing shoutcasting. He's a good friend, so he does editing for Waifu as well. So you can see some of his work on Waifu's YouTube if you ever need him to do editing stuff. So, yeah, that's him. Where is this music coming from? Okay, I don't want any more Camelot YouTube. Alright? Jesus. Alright, so let me minimize Discord here. Alright, so Scruffington versus Zerodux is the first match of the day. And I'm kind of excited for this. Scruffington they were pretty much neck and neck on the leaderboard, and then Zero pulled away with a like 4-minute PB in the last few days. But we'll see if he's able to translate the that advantage that he has now on the board in his PB to something in a no reset situation. Yeah, there's
definitely.
After this is my bad, dude. The schedule is going to be in ! tournament, and it'll be next is Loner versus Amon, and then Zeta versus the winner of Loner versus Amon. We'll see if we got a bonus match lined up for y'all, but after that, that's the 3 matches for today. Boop boop doop. Okay, so alrighty. So, you have anything you want to say, Demonic, before we get started? Any expectations? Anything you're looking to see?
Not too much. Like you've been saying a lot of the times, it really comes down to the early game and to see if you can get that momentum started where you can kind of snowball that advantage and eventually kind of take the lead and pull away. But it's really going to just come down to consistency. That's with a tournament. You have to be consistently getting good times in order to advance, because it's going to get harder and harder. So we're starting to get to the point where it's late into the tournament, and that expectation of getting a good time is going to be that much higher with every round passing.
Definitely, and I think that it's the consistency as far as like the trickle down time, because if those runners, they don't have those ranks early on, they're not going to be able to. They're going to lose. They're going to get some flat time loss on that mission, and then later it's going to cost them even more time. And as the competition gets a little bit stiffer, those 5 missions could just like make or break a lot of these runs. Just straight up make or break it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much with the first 5 missions, you have to get an S ranking, or in some of them, you have to get the special bonus as well. So there's just a higher standard for mistakes, and you're not allowed to make them as much. Whereas if you make them, later on in the run, it's not great, but it's definitely something that you can recover from without losing too much time. At the very beginning, you can lose several minutes basically and have to change strands completely in order to recover from if you don't, say, get an S rank on mission 2.
For sure, for sure. All right, so if both runners are good, I'm going to count down from 3, and then we're going to do 3, 2, 1 Devil May Cry, and that is when I'm going to start the time. So, 3, 2, 1, Devil May Cry. Cool. Alright, so we're getting into it right now. So this first mission here, the big RNG that we're kind of looking at here is the basement, where we don't really want to see those red puppets because they have a lot of health. So we're really looking for these runners to kind of get the light blues or the greens, and really the movement here is also going to kind of make or break. This 30 seconds in, we have the first trick of the game, which is the horse jump. And so in order to get this orb cache, you have to jump on the lance of the horse so you can unlock the door really early. Runners have been taking like 2 or 3 times to get this on some of these matches, and it's really costing them like 10 or 15 seconds just right off the bat. Really not what you want to see. You want to make sure that everybody gets these the first try. Looks like Zero's going to go for the safe jump there, and then Scruffy's going to just kind of, just wing it. But, both runners are off to a pretty good start, I think.
Yeah, at this point, they're close enough to being just neck and neck with each other. It's not like any of them missed the jump and had to recover. And it's always disheartening when you're doing a race and at the very beginning you mess up something and you kind of just have that in the back of your head, like, well, I just screwed that up and now I have to recover from a time loss that I shouldn't have had to do in the first place. Because that's the main thing. You want your time losses to be kind of, I guess, not in your control exactly, and something that you have, an advantage of moving on later. But we can see, they're going to be making their way through mission 1, just the normal pathing right now. The only thing really that's going to be happening here is just small little optimization movements like the jumping or things along those lines.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Zero's kind of got the upper hand here as far as movement so far, it seems like. But he does have that Virgil in the corner there that shows he's motivated. So both pretty good clean jumps for the plane cache there of orbs. I like Zero's combo better on this light wheel. So it's going to cost Scruffy a little bit of time coming into the basement.
Right, and this is where a lot of this RNG is going to play into factor. It looks like Zero actually had some decent RNG, but it seems like the TheScruffington is going to do as well. So we're going to see how they're going to be able to handle this at the moment.
I like Scruffy going for the right side room here, just kind of slash cancel these puppets. Pretty good slash cancels coming out from both of the runners. Slash cancels, for those of you unaware, so the first and second hits of every melee weapon in the game, including Ifrit, you can spin your stick in a circular motion, and ooh, looks like Scruffy got a red marionette there. That's unfortunate. But yeah, so you can cancel the recovery of the first 2 hits of any melee attack in the game. So it allows you to just loop these first 2 hits here over and over and over again. So for some really high DPS. Doesn't do a whole lot of bursts, but the damage over time kind of evens out. Really good for crowd control as well.
Oh yeah, we can see more examples of that right here with the slash cancels. I'm actually surprised. I think Scruffy was able to gain a little bit of ground in that basement fight, even with the red marionette. In fact, if he didn't get that red marionette, he probably would be relatively even going out of this first mission. But he did get hit there, which is going to, I believe, mess up his orb counter just a little bit because he had to no damage just to get S rank, correct?
He does, yeah, but I think coming out of this mission, both runners are going to be able to grab those S ranks, because you do have to have, if you decide to grab that plane cache, because the thing is with the plane cache,
Villain just subscribed.
there's apparently that notification isn't off. But yeah, so I thought I had all notifications off, but that's fine. Okay, Smash Villain, thank you for the 21 months, man. So the plane cache, if you don't grab that during the first mission, you basically have to not get hit, and then if you do grab the plane cache for those 50 extra orbs, it can take a couple of hits before you sort of just lose the S rank entirely. Both runners were able to grab over 200 orbs during that mission, so they were sitting pretty cushy and they didn't take too many hits, so they were able to grab that S rank.
Perfect. And yeah, we can see right now there is a little bit of a gap, but it's not one that's irrecoverable from. I mean, one slightly better boss fight, or one slightly better fight for TheScruffington, and he's going to be right back head to head with Zero. So that's kind of the good thing about a game like this, is that there's so much that's been going on, and there's so many little optimal time saves that you can get, then it's still anyone's game very early on. Whereas in sometimes, if you miss a trick or something along those lines very early, then there's pretty much no chance of catching back up. So that's going to be the main thing right here, especially with the main movement tech that they're going to want to grab coming out of this mission is going to be Stinger. So it's very important that they get that S rank and get as many orbs as they possibly can in order to do so and keep their buy list correct the entire time.
Yeah, and as you were saying with that, you know, just one good fight, the scissors can definitely decide that if, ooh, looks like Zero's getting a good one, however. Scruffington starting off strong. He should be able to close the gap. That was almost a double kill. Ooh, okay. Unfortunate there. But, yeah, looks like both runners had pretty decent fights here. I'm interested to see the IGT differential.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I believe we are timing this off of IGT, correct?
Yeah, correct, yes. And fortunately, we'll be able to see the IGT differentials as each runner sort of keeps pace here. So Zero got a 153 there. We'll see what kind of time that Scruffington's working with. Yeah, 202. Okay, so only about 9-second difference. Not terrible. As we head into mission 3 here, it looks like Zero was able to pick up Stinger 2. It looks like both runners are going to be able to pick it up. Good stuff there.
Yeah, both of them were able to grab it, so that's definitely going to help out, and that's kind of, I think, where if one of them wasn't able to grab level 2 or even level 1, that's where we would start seeing a major time difference from. But so far, the only real, like, time losses on Scruffington's end have been very small little optimizations that he could do. You know, the horse jump could have been a little bit faster. He got a red marionette at the very beginning, but overall, nothing that I can see that's been too much of a problem that he can't fix.
For sure. Race is still pretty close, all things considered. I think Scruffy is maybe just trying to go for a strong start here, just see if he can pull it out in the end game, but I know for sure he didn't want to lose that big momentum here at the beginning. Oh, that was almost a nice bite there from that skull coming into this water fight as Zero heads into Phantom. And then, okay, yeah, he's going to make it out of here pretty okay. Let's see how this Phantom fight goes for Zerodux. Is he going to get the first jump off? Okay, no, that looks like it. Yeah, it didn't crit here. We got the stun, but, you know, no crit. Really not a great Phantom fight here coming out from Zero. Really kind of struggling on the positioning here with the spider.
And we're going to be able to see if Scruffington is going to be able to use that to his advantage to catch up a little bit and make it for the differential. And it looks like he's going to miss it entirely, not getting the stun or the crit, unfortunately. So he's not going to be able to catch back up in this fight, but it still doesn't look like it's going too terribly. He's taking a lot of damage, however. That knockback is definitely not going to help him. He actually might have to be careful here because he's only a couple hits away from death, and that would definitely not be very good for his time. So he can continue to try. This is, again, where the big time change is coming up, but he finishes up the fight at least, and that is going to allow him to move on. Albeit, that was a little bit of a rough fight, but definitely only, you know, maybe 10 or 20 seconds loss. Something that he could certainly come back from.
For sure. I think both runners kind of feeling that Phantom pressure right now, or as Mills said in chat, the Phantom pain. So I think what Scruffington was trying to do there was you saw the Phantom did a quick turn around, and Scruffington would have had that crit pretty much like in the bag if Phantom didn't decide to turn around, because Phantom can do one of 3 things. He can either sit there when you go for the crit, he can slowly turn around after the jump, or he can do that quick turn. Unfortunately, although Scruffington was in proper positioning for that crit, he got some really bad RNG there, sort of worked the fight on, you know, sort of out of his control there. So we went for some strats that Zeta uses where he does 1-2 Stinger in order to do the damage. However, he wasn't able to loop it correctly here. Both pretty good cat RNG, though. He decides to get bit by the cat for some reason. Not really sure, but, you know, we'll rock with it. Looks like Zero's...
It's RNG manipulation.
It's RNG, yeah, exactly. RNG manipulation plus asserting dominance, you know, good stuff. Looks like Zero's kind of pulling ahead here, though. I'm interested to see where Scruffington sort of pulls back here. I really feel like Nightmare is going to be the next like big make or break. Also Phantom 2. Phantom 2 is going to probably give them some trouble, since now Scruffington is not going to be able to buy Air Hike before Mission 8.
Yeah, that's going to make it very complicated, and we'll have to see how well his knowledge is of the game, if he's going to be able to come up with a backup in order to do so. It looks like that is going to be the fight done on Zero's side. We're going to see how Scruffington does. It looks like he's having a very similar pattern, but he does get hit there a couple of times, which is definitely not how you want to finish this mission off.
Good on him for waiting on that teleport there from Nello Angelo, though, because if you use the Holy Water there and then Nello is teleporting during those frames, he won't take any damage from the Holy Water. So good on him, even though, you know, he did manage to salvage the fight. This is definitely one of those games, though, like you said, you know, knowledge of this game goes a long, long way, you know. The game is pretty much glitchless, and so you pretty much are relying on execution and knowledge of the game, even on a casual level, really will help you out in these fights and in these runs.
Yeah, in tech movement especially, a very popular thing, I'm sure you know, is, you know, style runners, so to speak, those people who try and get the wackiest, craziest, most point-inducing combos. And if you do that along with speedrunning, you have a really strong idea of the movesets and how they work, and that can definitely lead to a huge advantage for you if you know this game casually. It's definitely not a game where if you don't know it, you just want to jump in and speedrun it.
For sure. That was one of the big motivations for me making the tutorial for this game. Was there's a lot of, like, you know, under the hood type of stuff that you kind of got to understand, and I had to do a lot of reading and a lot of watching of runs and everything, sort of acquire that and sort of compile it all in one place. It was definitely something I didn't want anybody else to go through, and I think it's paying off in dividends, because these gentlemen have only picked up the game within the last you know, few weeks or so, and they're already you know, hitting the ground running with it. So it's really nice to see.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the tech and things along like that just isn't really super noticeable from just watching a video. You almost need somebody to tell you, like, you know, slash cancels. You can maybe see it if they had inputs on screen and you were really looking for it, but as a casual viewer, if you were just looking through for the first time, seeing if this was a game for you, you wouldn't notice something so small but so important like that.
Yeah, and even like the ranking system, that's really hard to understand too, because, you know, a lot of the Devil May Cries, you think, oh, if I just do my combos and everything, all really good, and then I'll get a high rank. But that's not really how this game works. You have to get it's a lot of like resource management, and it's a lot of just, you know, knowledge of the game in general. And it's one of those games that's really more so built around strategy. I compare it more to like Resident Evil games than I do an actual like Devil May Cry game, which, you know, kind of started with 3.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you know, in a lot of games, especially with speedruns, rank usually isn't that important. Speedrunners are used to getting bad endings and bad ranks all the time because we're trying to go as fast as possible. So typically, in most games, you won't be using as many mechanics. But here, they play a major factor in the routing because they give incentives for getting higher ranks. And there's a lot of different combos, movements, and techniques that are tied to those things that can significantly change what you do on the back end. But if you were watching this for the first time, you wouldn't really notice those small little changes that they have to do.
Indeed, indeed. So this is kind of like the lull period here. We're kind of reaching the end on Zerodux's end as he heads into Phantom 8. He hit the door at a really, really nice pace. So that door there on Mission 7 here that Scruffington's about to approach, around like a 12-minute real time is really, really good pace. That's almost like a sub 40 pace at this point. Really kind of depends, obviously, on your IGT, but 12 minutes hitting that door. I think he was at like a 12:20. That's pretty good pace. Scruffy's going to hit it about 40 seconds later. Still really close, all things considered, sort of, that Scruffington's had to deal with. Ooh, the bug got the hug. You saw that?
I did see that. It looks like he was able to charge it up, though, and didn't lose too much time from that, hopefully. But again, that jump right there, very annoying. But the main thing is you want to make sure all your small mistakes are as little as possible. So if you make a big one, it's not going to be as painful. But we can see that Zero is already going to finish up the Phantom fight, and he's going to continue to move on just as Scruffington is getting into the mission. So that lead is starting to get larger and larger as time passes. And right now, Scruffington either has to really make sure his run is perfect for the rest of this, or he's going to have to hope that Zero starts making some mistakes for him to catch up, which Zero is doing very good right now, so he has that momentum, and it doesn't seem like he's been struggling too much during this run.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, just finishing up that fight because he got like 3 crits on Phantom. Really, really nice positioning there. Didn't work out for him on Phantom 1, but he really cleaned it up on Phantom 2. Proud of him. Looks like Scruffington's also going to go with a Zeta patented strat of the 1-2 stingers. Kind of getting the timing off a little bit here. He's trying to fight for the DT right now. making sure that he's going to try and time it so that Phantom gets mini stuns, and you can loop that over and over again. Jumping off the face there, I like that quite a lot, honestly. Get some crits on the face as well as prevent him from shooting the fireballs. There's also a chance that if Phantom readies up a projectile as you're trying to get a critical hit on his face, you'll also be able to reflect it back at him. So that was some pretty nice adaptation. He did try and go for the special bonus, it looks like, but he's not going to be able to grab it because he did get hit. So good adaptation here for Scruffington, because he didn't go for the extra orb caches after he saw that he got hit. Didn't just, you know, stay static in what he was doing. Some sort of situational awareness that we're seeing here. I'm going to equip the grenade gun as Zero is going to actually move into the early gauntlets segment. And early gauntlets is a trick, for those unaware, where you skip the platforming required to get the Ifrit gauntlets by using air hike in Zero's case. And Scruffington hopefully will use the air raid version or the no air hike version. So you're just going to jump over to this platform here, and then you're just going to jump up again, and then use air raid to fly straight to the gauntlets. And it's going to skip that whole big puzzle that you got to do. Some great, it's a great trick. It's one of my favorites in the game.
Yeah, almost messed it up there. Almost went a little too far, but he was able to make sure that didn't happen. That would have been a little bit annoying if you were talking about this great little trick and then just we watch him just careen off the edge. But that does mean that, again, you know, that's another time save that Zero is going to have an advantage over, because Scruffington, he can't even attempt that trick, so he's just going to be losing more time when he gets to that position. So hopefully he'll be able to do something to close that gap, because it's slowly extending.
Yeah, and we did see the Griffin 1 skip there. It's also one of the funniest things that I ever saw when I watched this run for the first time. You don't actually have to fight Griffin 1. You can just punch the door, light it on fire, and then just leave him on read. You know, just go straight to the next Fars fight here. Scruffington also going to take a crack at early gauntlets here. He's going to use the no air hike version, hopefully, where here he's just going to jump. Oh, it looks like he does have air hike. Okay, excellent. Didn't see him get that, so here we go. Excellent. Nice. Good. And, ooh, right there on the edge as well. Both runners cutting it really close on that edge.
Yeah, I was going to say that was very good, though. Definitely a nice air hike to grab the gauntlets. And we're going to see the same thing right here, the skip that Cosmic just mentioned right here. It's going to run to the door, hit it, and see ya.
See you later, alligator. Or, yeah, I guess flock off, featherface is the more appropriate terminology there. Surprise! I wonder if he's going to go for the backup holy water here as Zero is moving into Mission 10. He is going to go for the backup holy water here. Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
That was really good. So, something interesting to note, falling off the ledges like that does actually reset your air action, so he is able to get a second air hike there. So, if you're falling off those ledges, runners, make sure that you mash that air hike if you have it bought.
Yeah, definitely saved him right there. Would have been really frustrating for him to go for the backup to hopefully close some time later on if he missed it there and just lost all the time save that he would get from getting it a second time. But you can see right now his fight is going to be going pretty well at the moment. Looks like he's going to be able to clean it up. Just one more marionette, I believe. That's the last one.
I'm interested to see where Zero's light here is actually going to cooperate with him, because the light manipulation here, oh, it does, okay. So on Mission 10, the light manipulation, you have to make sure that your okay, I actually have to disconnect the runners from the call. I forgot to do that. Okay, so we're going to actually just go by Zero's audio now, so that's good. Alright, so, the manipulation for the light here is that you want to make sure that it always goes to the left side, because that allows you to get the fastest time, sort of, for this. And fortunately, for him, he was able to, you know, because there's times where that light can get pretty wonky. So I'm glad that that didn't happen to him here. Particularly the scissor room, it can fly off to the right, because the scissors clipping through the wall, if you kill them like as they're entering the wall and the light sort of kind of comes out of them, it just like veers off to the right. So we've had some runners just like lose that mission during this tournament to that happening. It was quite unfortunate to see, honestly. It's quite unfortunate.
We can see the light manipulation coming in from Scruffington. Looks like he's doing pretty decent with that as well. Has a couple more rooms, so to speak, to go. Let's see that light manipulation coming in. Pulls out the devil trigger to finish things off. Let's see if we can be able to get it.
Mission 11 is like definitely one of the most anxiety-inducing missions in this run, because you can get hit so easily here, and in the next room, and then in the next room. Oh man, and getting hit on this mission just means an automatic 700 orbs loss. So in an entire holy water, you pretty much lose. So you're forced to just pick up an extra one. You have to dodge this red scythe here, but makes it through kind of cleanly, and is able to head into Nello 2. Scruffington here looks like he doesn't have the money for. Okay, I don't know why he does this all the time. Because you don't need to actually walk here in order to hit that holy water. You can just stand at the beginning of the room and then you're able to do it that way. He is going to grab this backup holy water here though, which is going to kind of make up for some of the deficit that he had on early on, so that's nice. Nello 2 goes down pretty quickly here on Zero's side. And he's going to head into Griffin 2. I'm interested to see if he'll do, because we haven't seen any meteor strats actually this tournament. We've mostly been seeing people go for the 3 holy water setup, and the meteor strat, for viewers sort of just tuning in, is when you buy Meteor 1 and you buy 2 holy waters for the mission, and you'll use the first holy water on the red scythe, and you'll do a double hit on it, and then it'll die. And then when you go to kill Griffin, you'll do a devil triggered grenade shot with Ifrit equipped into a fully charged Meteor 1, and then you'll use another holy water, and then Griffin will go down. In the 3 holy water strat, we still use the double hit of the holy water on that first scythe, that death scythe, and then we'll just use 2 holy waters on Griffin. Loses about 2 seconds, I think, to the 1 to 2 seconds to the meteor strat, but very, very safe and consistent to do.
Oh yeah, you see Scruffington looks like he's gonna be able to avoid the red scythe. Some little movement mistakes, but it's okay. He has 1337 orbs, so you know he's a lead gamer.
I was
gonna be going.
I was hoping you were gonna comment on that.
Oh yeah, how could I not? We'll have to see how his fight goes right now. Looks like gonna go decently, at least to start out with. Nothing too major to begin. But you know, meanwhile, he's really starting to fall behind. He really needs to find a way to catch up. Along with a couple of little mistakes that he's been doing, he's also been going for a lot more backups than Zero, which definitely makes his run safer. But unless Zero makes a mistake, then those backups are really going to basically just cost him a lot of time. Because again, you know, in the race, you definitely want to still finish as fast as possible. It's not like a no reset where you can kind of be okay with getting bad times. You really want to make sure that if you're getting those backups, you're saving time in the run later on.
Absolutely, yeah. Looks like Zero did go for the 2 holy water strat there. And Scruffington is going to actually head into mission 12 as well. Fortunately for Scruffington, Zero's Death Scythe fight was not the cleanest, so that is a little bit of time that Scruffington will be able to make up. It looks like, yeah, we're about to get into the, this is coming up sort of on the end of the mid-game here for Zero, and it's going to be a pretty short mission there. So this is always interesting to me. It's always interesting to look at from a tournament perspective, because it's very easy for a runner to be like 2 missions ahead at this point, and then some of the later missions are much longer. So it makes the lead seem bigger than it actually is, because this mission 13 here is just so short.
Right, yeah, and you have to keep that in mind. And it's definitely not one of my favorite missions. The underwater part, I don't know why, just really bugs me. But it seems like Zero had a pretty easy time going through there, and he's going to finish that off in less than a minute. So 43, not a bad time.
Looks like he is also going to go for the free untouchable here. So for those of you unaware, this section here between 13 and 14 is not timed by the in-game timer. This is exclusive to the HD collections. In the PS2 version, this is still timed by the in-game timer. So grabbing this untouchable here and grabbing the holy water is totally fine. We're not allowed to farm orbs here, which is completely understandable. But we are allowed to grab a free holy water here and a free untouchable.
Definitely works in his favor to grab those backups. And we can see that it was a pretty clean fight for Scruffington. Nothing too major without the 2 holy water strat working out for him as well.
And he had a really good Death Scythe as well. Killed it pretty much instantly, so that was nice to see. He's going to head into mission 13 here, as well as Zero makes his way towards mission 14. I remember one of the last runs I did of this, I vortexed towards the end of this hallway, so I didn't have any Devil Trigger to vortex back, and I was like, I done goofed.
I think we've all done that, especially with backtracking and the speedrun. Your brain just kind of occasionally has muscle memory kick in, and you realize that it's kicking in at the wrong moment.
Yeah. I wish it hadn't kicked in at that moment, but it did. So next run, though, we got it.
Thankfully, it didn't for 0.
Thankfully not. And then here, the stinger here that he's going to do into this room, hopefully he does this here correctly. Okay. Not really going to... So it doesn't really matter here, but he would have lost quite a bit of time here if he had done that walk forward if a red scythe had spawned in, because the enemy that spawns in this room on mission 14 is random. It can either be shadow cats, it can be blades or the lizards, and it can also be the red scythe. And if you mash stinger in the door transition, looks like Zero is also going to grab the backup Devil Star here. It's going to be a little bit of a leeway that ScruffingTon can get back. Is Zero going to go for a second Devil Star here now? Okay. So, but if you mash stinger in the door transition, there exists a mechanic in this game where the way that you enter some doors affects the direction that you come out of the other side. So if you mash stinger in the door transition, you will always get that stinger no matter what enemy spawns there. Fortunately for Zero, the blade spawned in instead of the red scythe, so he wasn't able to, he didn't get punished for the movement there.
And something to notice is ScruffingTon actually didn't grab the backup untouchable in the ship. He just grabbed the holy water and moved on. So it's going to make it a little bit more dangerous for him to do so, but I think he's just really focused on trying to catch up to Zero, even though I believe it wouldn't really matter too much ITT, but still he's trying to just kind of keep that momentum and just really focus on gaining back that time. We're going to see how his DT comes through this hallway. Looks like his move is pretty good.
Very nice.
He's going to get out of there.
A little bit too high.
Yeah, that small little mistake right there just knocked him down to almost half HP, and just, you know, one small issue just kind of steamrolled into that. But otherwise, right before that, it was going great.
Looks like Zero is also going to use the untouchable strat for this hallway here, so that he technically has infinite Devil Trigger, and he's able to just vortex back through the hallway instead of having to do some of the extra platforming here. This is, however, going to tank his rank on this mission to a C, pretty much regardless of what he does. So I'm interested to see if he actually grabs the holy water here still. It's going to be interesting orb route-wise what he does. So yeah, it looks like... So I'm interested to see where his orb route goes here, all things considered, because I don't know if... I think he's going sort of by the newer routes, but he's sort of combining the Zeta no air hike strats with the air hike strats. The reason that Zeta's route here works is because Zeta has an extra 2,000 orbs technically, because he doesn't buy air hikes. So it's gonna be, the orbs might get tight here a little bit for Zero. Even the couple of backups that he's picked up, all things considered. So we'll see how that affects him later on, especially if he's not able to S rank mission 22. I'm sorry, mission 21. Right.
And I mean, if he's able to get through with just enough orbs, then it works out great in his favor. But if he doesn't have enough orbs, then that's really going to cost him a lot of the time that he has gained throughout his entire run. And it might kind of even things back up a bit. So that could possibly be the opening that ScruffingTon needs in order to catch back up.
Looks like Griffin also... Griffin really didn't cooperate with Zero here, so look at this. ScruffingTon's closing that lead. He's already heading into the hallway here. So yeah, Griffin, go ahead.
It's been about, I believe, a minute and a half behind, give or take a couple of seconds. But this is definitely where he can catch back up, and it looks like he's doing the untouchable strategy as well to get throughout the hallway. So that's going to tank his rank as well, correct? Correct,
yeah. Interesting to see this strategy catching on here. Looks like everybody saw Zeta do it, last week, and they were just like, you know what, that looks good. We're doing that from now on. But I really like the if your pace is really strong up until this point, I really like the strat that we do where you just grab the holy water in this room here off to the side, and you grab the big orb that's in that room as well. It looks like ScruffingTon's going to kind of go for both of them. He's going to go for the backup for the holy water, kind of maybe going to tank the time that he gained back from Zero's bad fight with Griffin.
Yeah, it did look like he could have done that a little bit more cleanly. I feel like he wasn't entirely sure up until he started doing it if he was going to go for it or not. But that is definitely going to help out in the for a C rank that he's going to get from this mission. Meanwhile, Zero is looking very good right now. He's definitely has that momentum holding on to him at the moment, so we're going to have to see if he's able to continue that. But we're getting into the late game now, meaning that if Scruffington wants to get back into this, something has to go wrong on Zero's end pretty badly. So we'll have to see if his orbs are enough, and if hopefully nothing worse happens along those lines for him.
For sure. And I mean, this is the first Nightmare fight as well coming up on Zero's end, so that's going to be, like we were talking about earlier, that's going to be one of the big make or break points here. It looks like Scruffington's definitely having some luck here with Griffin. For those of you unaware, Griffin is actually forced into 3 different phases here, I think 3 or 4 different phases, and the Holy Water forces him through the first one, and then the second one, he has like a bunch of iframes as he ascends. Actually, I'm going to skip that whole thing. We're just going to go into the Nightmare fight here on Zero's end as Scruffington finishes up mission for Griffin 3. And 1. Oh no! Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Didn't have Devil Trigger on. This could be bad.
Yeah, if he's going to be able to get it still with the advantage, he loses the Devil Trigger. Gonna have to see what he's going to do here right now. This is not the best situation for him to be in.
Uh-oh. And now he's going to have to deal with a second spawn here. Looks like he's going to go for the Holy Water as the attack is spawning from Nightmare. But it's still not going to kill him because now he's done way too many hits to the core. And the cores, as you do more hits to them, and they take more damage, they break, and as a result, they get more damage resistance. So he had to kind of clean that up. Still salvaged it, but really not the best Nightmare fight coming out here. Might be the mistake that Scruffington was looking for.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest mistake I've seen Zero do in his entire run so far. So definitely something that he didn't really want to have happen, especially when his run was looking so clean up until that point. I mean, it almost looked like it was like on his PB pace potential up until that fight. Absolutely,
yeah, I agree. And looks like we're gonna see what Scruffington's got up his sleeve here on mission 16. And Zero is gonna head into mission 17. He's gonna dump a bunch of orbs into a bunch of Holy Waters and that purple orb there. So he is sort of going with the newer 3 purple orb route. So he's not gonna be able to afford a purple orb on mission 20. So we used to use a purple orb on mission 20 to vortex straight into the Nightmare 3 room, but now we buy that 3rd purple orb now on mission 22 instead. So we're going to see how this pans out here. This mission 17 is pretty free in terms of the fights with this strategy, because you just dump 2 Holy Waters here into the Frost, and then you dump 3 into Low Angel. It pretty much negates any bad RNG that you can have. Pretty much all down to your movement at that point to get a good IGT.
And it does seem like we were talking about his orb counter, and we were a little nervous about that, but from what I've seen, it looks like he was able to get everything he needed, correct?
Yeah, correct. I think it maybe the backup Holy Water that he grabbed at the beginning of mission 15 kind of helped him out. And the backup Devil Star as well. That's going to kind of play a factor later on, because the Devil Stars we pretty much just use for Mundus now.
Looks like he's getting himself set up right now for the T-Rex fight. Kind of a Night in the Museum clone, but we'll go on. But in the meantime, Scruffington, he's going to be heading into the Nightmare fight now. This is where Zero really struggled with. So if Scruffington wants to gain back a bit of the time that he has lost, he just has to make sure his DT is activated. And hopefully this fight will go well for him.
I know he can do it, so let's get it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy. Okay, he's gonna play it safe here. All right. I mean, I respect it, but I really felt like he had that one in the bag.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like something that he could have finished off right now. So what he would have gained from that isn't as much as he probably would have wanted, but let's see how this fight goes.
Yeah,
and
now
it looks like, oh no, he didn't finish charging that up, I think.
Uh-oh. He did finish charging it up, but it took the there's two first attacks that Nightmare will do if you go to his back orb, and the first one is pretty much like free there. You saw that it had the leeches coming out during that first phase, and then the second phase, when you activate it, it will always do the spike attack, and the orb pretty much does not stay out for very long unless you parry that spike attack. And without Rolling Blaze, it's pretty difficult. Rolling Blaze is something that we just don't get in the run at all. So it would be really hard for him to time that. I really felt like he should have just gone for the Nightmare 1 cycle. I've seen him do it plenty of times before. He really just needed to believe in himself there and just, you know, finish the plate.
Yeah, we were talking about momentum earlier, and you know, getting tricks can really boost up your confidence. Whereas if you're struggling during a run, you just kind of have more of an incentive to stay safe. So that might have been that. He might have been going, hey, I'm not having a great run right now. I don't want to just completely lose it. Let's just play it safe and go for the you know, more normal strat. But he's going to get through it no problem, and now he has to really do some work in order to catch back up, because we're seeing it Zero again. Other than that Nightmare hiccup, he has been doing very well.
Absolutely. Let's see if he goes for the manipulation on the scissors here. If you face this left-hand wall, it will cause the scissors to behave a little bit more consistently. Didn't do it, so the scissor there is going to swim behind him. If you point yourself at the left wall, you're going to be able to have the scissor always swim in front of you, and it makes this fight really quick. Now he's going to have to deal with a lot of this movement on the scissors part, and really could, you know, sort of mess up the time save that he has going on. He is going to get hit there. Not really a big deal on Mission 18, but you can see how much he's struggling now with the scissors after you know, failing that manipulation or just not going for it at all. This might also be the other mistake that Scruffington was kind of hoping he'd make. He's about halfway through Mission 17 here as a result. There we go. Finally cleans it up. Dino fight.
We got the Dino fight on Scruffington's part, and Zero is going to move on. Does seem like that window of opportunity for Scruffington to catch up is slowly closing, but he's doing very much better in the late game part. His movement is a little bit more on point, so I feel like he's possibly a bit more warmed up and ready to go. So that's definitely going to play a factor. You know, we saw a couple of times where he was DTing and just got stuck on one little thing, and that cost him a couple of extra seconds. And while it's not a whole lot at that point, it does add up when you do it a few times. So now that he's a little bit more comfortable and a little bit further into the run, it does seem like he's, you know, stingering better, DTing better, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, coming in with cold hands in the tournament setting is it's definitely rough. So Zero's actually been doing some PB attempts prior to the match, so he's really got the old hands warmed up, and you know, he's busted out his G Fuel and everything, so ready to go. And then he's got the holy water going on.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, Nightmare 2 fight looks very good, much cleaner than what he had previously.
That's what we're looking to see here. He's going to go into sort of another sort of free mission here with Mission 19. Sponsored by Unsponsored. Red Bull, I'm looking for it. Same with you, Wawa. Okay. Shoutouts, I think. So, going into Nello 3 on Scruffington's end here, he's really just going to holy water him up. We're reaching sort of a lull period here. Scruffington is going to actually go for the 2 holy water strat here on Nello. Fortunately, he got the good RNG, so Nello did teleport right over to him. If he had gotten some bad RNG, Nello would have been on the far side of the room. He would have had to run over to him and slash cancel. Fortunately, it wasn't the case, so not really looking at too much time loss there.
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, though. It definitely could have gone way worse than that, but luck was on Scruffington's side, and so he's going to continue on getting all the upgrades he needs and set up. So right now, Zero is looking very good. He is motivated. He is really living up to that cached image on his OBM. And we're just going to have to see how the rest of this goes. It's a lull period, so there's not really much for him to do. Let's see if Scruffington is going to go for the manipulation you mentioned earlier in order to create some consistency with those scissors.
He did not, but the scissors still swam in front of him. Very nice. Okay.
It does seem like he can have a bit of a cleaner fight on his end right now.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Good. Pretty decent fight there, yeah. On Scruffington's end. And Zero is going to move into the, going to sort of close in on one of the choke points there. And we've had some heartbreakers here on this bridge when people are vortexing across it. Have to realign themselves and just kind of fallen in the pit down there. So let's hope that doesn't happen to Zero. And then he's going to be moving into Nightmare 3. Looks like a really clean line there. Very nice.
Again, these guys like cutting in close with that vortex, don't they?
Oh yeah, definitely seems like it. They're like, I don't want a lot of insurance. I just want to hit the land button and then pray.
It somewhat takes the responsibility out of it. Oh,
well, you saw that?
Again,
oh.
I saw that. Scruffington catching himself when he was falling with the air hike. That was the second time that we've seen it, but in that case, if he did fall, that would have been much worse than missing that holy water backup a couple missions back.
Oh, that would have probably been like 30 seconds time loss, like 30 seconds to a minute time loss. That would have probably been the race right there.
I'm loving these power factors that we're getting at the very end here, even during the lull moments, but he's going to continue on to the second Nightmare fight. Let's see how it does it. Looking good so far. Good setup, good positioning.
Okay, is he going to... I think he's got this one. I definitely think so. Very good. Nice. Excellent. Good job.
There we go. Both really good Nightmare 2 fights coming out from these runners. And in the meantime, we have Nightmare 3 coming out for Zero. And again, it's looking like a similar story to what he had previously. Is he going to be able to get it here? Ooh.
Oh no. What's going on here? He didn't go for the holy water.
I'm not sure if he had enough. He has 2 holy waters, but it looks like he's going to go for it now. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out. But it does finish off Nightmare. So
headphone warning, overall, by the way, coming up.
Overall, a little bit of a time loss, but it does seem like he's recovering nicely.
Very nice. Okay, excellent. Scruffington can move on to the nobody fight. We're just going to do the 2 holy waters. Let's hope that the vortex also pans for him here. Pans out for him there. As Zero moves on to mission 21 and is going to be probably trying for the grenade strat here. Yep. Oh, okay. So the strat here is you do a grenade strike, and then you do 1 slash cancel, and then you do that 3 times. And then that breaks the door lock. The old strat that we used to do was vortex at it, and you would do 2 hits with the vortex, and then helm break, and then stinger back to the door. With this strategy, we'd never have to leave the door's ledge, so we can just shoot it with the grenade 3 times and boom, move on.
It definitely wasn't the cleanest way to do it, but he gets the job done. And at this point, those small little mistakes aren't going to be hurting him as much. He has a sizable lead at the moment. It's really just going to be the big thing that matters. So as long as he is able to get all the tricks and get all the fights correctly, then he should be in a pretty good position to maintain his lead for the rest of these late game missions.
Let's see if he's actually going to go for the Cosmo Climb as well. And the Cosmo Climb is a trick that I made. Anyway, so basically you have to stand underneath. Just dust my shoulders off. It's all good now. So I want to hear some climb, climb, climb in the chat, by the way, as we approach that room or see it. We don't really hear things in chat. But the Cosmo Climb, he's going to stand underneath one of the electric bats that's in this room, and then he's going to be manipulating the lock-on of the vortex to fly straight up to the top of the room. And the safe strat here is just kind of vortex to the side and do the regular platforming. However, if you do the Cosmo Climb, it saves you a pretty sizable amount of time, probably about 10 seconds or so. 10, 15 seconds. So we'll see what he decides to go for here. It looks like he's got enough to attempt it. Maybe he's just a little bit short, but we'll see how clean his movement here is as Scruffington moves into Nightmare 3.
Yeah, he had a very good vortex going over the bridge right now. He's going to head into the fight at the moment. Looks like here we go. Is Zero going to be able to get it?
Okay, that's a pretty acceptable Cosmo Climb. Pretty much got like a two-thirds of the way up there. That's nice. That's what I want to see. Good stuff there. Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Now the real question is Scruffington going to go for that? And if so, how is his climb going to end up? It does seem like he's having a decent Nightmare 3 fight so far. Let's see what he does with the Holy Water strat. He's going to be able to bring it out. Ooh.
It looks like he recognized that he was a little bit slow there on the 4 Ifrit strikes, so he's going to wait. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's try it now. I think it's going to... I don't know if this is going to hit. Oh, no. The orb went back in. That's unfortunate. Zero moving into Mundus, though, however. Scruffington having a little bit of trouble here. Looks like he's hoping to clutch this one out. Doesn't have a lot of Devil Trigger either, so he has to tank those hits from the leeches.
It's going to be a huge problem for him right now. Not what he wanted at the end here.
Especially considering how good his Nightmare 2 was. Uh-oh.
So he might die here. This is getting very, very dangerous for him. He just has to more focus on staying alive in this fight than actually doing it quickly. Is he going to be able to do it? Does get a nice little dodge, hits the core. Is he going to be able to finish off? Yes, he can get into the second phase of this fight, but this is not the position he wanted to be in. Meanwhile, Zero, very standard Mundus fight going on at the end here. Looks like he's able to pretty much do it exactly how it was intended. Very good manipulation. Not too many big mistakes, but oh my goodness.
Ooh, boy.
Covington might get hit here.
Oh.
No, he doesn't. He barely finishes
that was a clutch. Excellent. Very nice. Woo!
Definitely a rough start, but that maneuver right there almost made up for it.
Oh, man. I don't even know, man. That was about to be a heartbreaker right there. It looks like Zero is looking to wrap this race up here as Scruffington moves into Mission 21. Not doing the Vortex out the door. Would have liked to see that from him, considering how clean the rest of his moves. And let's see if he goes for the last trick of the run here, where he does the stinger in this last door. No, he's not going to go for it. Okay. So he's just going to go for a nice, clean end here. Going to move into the Nobody's room. Scruffy moving towards the Nobodies on Mission 21. Let's see if he goes for the Cosmo Climb as well. Considering how close he's been playing this run to the chest, I'm not sure we'll see it from him. But, hey, we can hope, you know.
At the end of the day, he might go, like, I have to get some time back, so maybe I'll try and go for it. But I think at this point, you know, unless Zero's game crashes or something along those lines, it looks like he's got this in the bag.
Yeah, it looks like he definitely held on to that early lead. Really just kind of just went for it on everything else, you know. Didn't really see a whole lot of backups being pulled out by Zero. He sort of just kind of, you know, went for it. Really like to see that sort of in these tournament formats where runners just kind of go for broke. Really do admire Zeta's safer strats that he uses. We saw with the Untouchable. He does a lot of pretty safe stuff. But I really feel like as we get deeper into the bracket, especially in winners and grand finals, winners, losers, and grand finals, it's really going to be coming down to doing some of these riskier strats.
Definitely. I mean, we saw a lot of the times that when Zero did lose time, like on Nightmare 1, for example, Scruffington lost his on Nightmare 3. Or on the very first Phantom fight, Zero didn't really have a great one, but Scruffington didn't either. So the places that he really needed to get that advantage, he wasn't really able to gain the time that he needed from the spots where Zero was weak. And, you know, he's been playing this very consistently well, both with those big mistakes and with the small optimizations that he's been hitting. You know, he's been doing tricks with less setup. He's been a little bit faster with his movement. He hasn't been messing up with double triggers as often. So overall, a lot of that has been happening.
It looks like we're going to be saying GG here to Zerodux. So he's
the Capcom escape.
The Capcom escape, baby. Looks like he's gonna grab a sub. Is it gonna be sub 48 RTA? Let's have a
very
look.
Good time for a no reset one shot marathon setting, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like Scruffy's gonna also play that room there close to the chest as well. So we'll see what he's got, what his plans are for Mundus. And that is gonna be time for Zero. 48:03. So let's
so close to that sub 48.
So close. 42:38. I think that might actually be a PB for him. Let's have a look at the leaderboard.
42:58 is his PB.
So that's
that's a 20-second PB for him.
That's really awesome. Good job to Zero. Let's get some applause out here. GGs and claps and stuff. Scruffington, not far behind, so he's probably looking at a PB himself as well, honestly.
Exactly. That's always the fun thing when you're a new runner and you just do no reset runs. Is sometimes you just get a PB and it's great.
And especially in a situation like this where there's already a lot of hype and tension in the room, it really just motivates you a lot of the time to just want to play your best, and then it's just like boom, you're just in there.
Yeah, and I think another thing with Scruffington is the fact that his run hasn't been that bad. The only thing that I think was a real big mistake on his end was the Nightmare 3 fight. That was the only thing that actually went really wrong for him.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the other stuff that we could count as, not optimal was him sort of consciously making a decision like, I'm not really going to go for this risky strat here. I'm not going to go for this thing that I'm not totally confident in. Though I feel like he really should have gone for it in a lot of places. But, I respect it. He really just wants to complete the run out and just, do what he's confident in. So, okay, I can't really blame him,
Yeah, and if he gets a PB, then, that's pretty good.
Yeah, more power to him, yeah. Looks like he's going to go for the Devil Star strat here as well. Devil Star and Vital Star if he really really needs to do it. This might be really risky here, but it looks like he's going to clutch it out. He's going to just finish off the good old Mundus here. Boom. All right.
There we go.
Yeah, it looks like he's maybe looking at a 52 in terms of RTA, 52, 53. So we're just going to wait for him to finish it out here. Mother's Guide. And we'll just move over to his audio as well.
Yeah, Scruffington's time right now is a 46:10 IGT. So keep that number in mind, and let's see if he's actually able to get a PB. I'm not sure how large of a margin it would be. I'm guessing not by a whole much if it does, but it's still a pretty good run for, in comparison to his best time.
Absolutely, yeah. The differential usually for runs is about 5 to 6 minutes of IGT, depending on your menuing. So, and the strats that you use, like if you grab the untouchable underneath the water, you're obviously going to add like 11 or 14 seconds on there. Considering how safe Scruffington is played, I'm not sure if it is going to be a PB, but it would be nice to see him get 2 in this tournament. Otherwise, that is the end of Scruffington's tournament life. So I hope that he goes out at least on a high note in that sense.
Yeah. And I mean, he didn't, I believe it was Zero that also went for that untouchable too, so he got the PB along with that. But I believe that Scruffington skipped it.
Yeah, Scruffington
skipped it. He only got the Holy Water back up.
Yes, he did. So he just went for the Vital Star and Devil Star strat. Ideally there, you don't actually use the Vital Star because Mundus has some random attacks that will do like a ton of damage to you. But if you only have to use the Devil Star on that strat, you save a few seconds actually over using an Untouchable, because the Untouchable shares sort of the same activation animation as the Holy Water before it actually starts up and you're able to do more actions. But the Devil Star only has this startup animation here. Dante doesn't actually do anything to refill his Devil Trigger, it's just on. Alrighty, moving into the final Mundus fight, or as Maxi Lopes likes to call him, the Spaghetti-O Mundus.
Yeah.
And let's actually see what we're looking at in terms of the next match. We got Scruffy Loner versus Amon.
Ooh, that's gonna be a very interesting one.
I definitely agree. All right, let's see here, Amon.
Yeah. So I believe Amon is a relatively new runner to this. I think he might actually have even got into it from your announcement of the tournament, because I know this is one of the only games that he actually speedruns. In fact, it's the only game that he has an official leaderboard time on. So compared to Loner, who definitely has a lot of experience in games like these, he's a Ninja Gaiden runner. He ran Castlevania games.
Loner's a Chad dude. Loner's really, really good. He's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very tough matchup for Amon. But here we go. Scruffington getting to the final ending. Let's see what his time is. And it looks like he's going to be ending his tournament run with a
47.52. So not a PB, but pretty close. So everybody give it up for the runners. It was a pretty good match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. GG. GG's all around.
Some good moments.
Scruffington clutching it out on these nightmare fights again. Again. All right, so let's see here. Zerodux. So, interestingly enough, the loser of Loner and Amon will play against Zero. So that's going to be interesting too, especially if it ends up with Amon being versus versus Zero, I feel like that's going to be really close as well.
That would be a fun match, yeah.